Hi, I'm Judy. Bandit is coming along. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga and a Yin Yoga practice about letting go. I suggest you have a bolster or at least a couple of blocks and a blanket with you. And you should be sitting up on one of those things to begin with. As we begin to just arrive into this moment, right here, right now, putting aside whatever came before this moment. Taking an easy seat, beginning to notice your breath, and maybe as you bring your attention to your breath, your thoughts begin to calm down. Maybe your breath slows down. Perhaps your heart calms down. Physically, today's practice is all about your neck, your shoulders, your upper back, tiny bit of hips too. And on a more subtle level, it's about letting go. Summer was all about taking it all in, taking the fire from the sun in. But as we move into fall, it's about letting things go. And maybe specifically letting grief go. And that's the emotion that is associated with the lung meridian when it's out of balance. This practice has special meaning to me because this dog, Bandit, right here, he's in heart failure. And he's not doing so great. He was a senior rescue. We've only had him a little over 7 years. So it's been a hard time. So this is a great practice to do when you're struggling with things like that, when you're struggling to be present and let that grief go. Excuse me. So that's my intention for you. Now is a great time to set your own intention. And we're just going to do a little breath work before we get into the main practice. I'd like you to take your hands down on your knees, palms up, and then close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Allow that breath to slow down. On every inhale, maybe sit up a little straighter. Notice how it's easier to breathe when you do that. And every exhale is a chance to let go. And I'd like to share this quote with you from Gabrielle Harris, who wrote The Language of Yin. She's a beautiful writer. And she wrote, "After every taking in, there is a letting go." So that could be seasonally, it could be emotionally, it could even just simply be linked to your breath. And on your next inhale, I'd like you to curl all your fingers and your thumbs into your palm. And on your exhale, just slowly and gently let them open again. Inhale, curl in. Exhale, let go. Inhale, take in this moment now. Exhale, let go. Live in the present. In my present, Bandit is still here. Inhale, take in. Exhale, let go. And then simply let that go. And take your palms down on your knees now. And inhale, bring your chest forward. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, expand. Exhale, let go. Inhale, be inspired. Exhale, let go. And in fact, that is the affirmation that I'd like to offer to you today in this practice. It's safe to let go. Sometimes we think when we're grieving, if we let go, we're just going to fall apart, fall into a million pieces. That's not really how grief works. It's like your breath. It comes and it goes. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's smooth. And now let that movement go. And just sit a moment with your breath. Notice what you feel. Now inhale your left hand up around to your right ear. And gently draw that left ear towards your left shoulder. Take your right arm out and just let it hang there. Trying to soften as much as possible. Notice how when you have that arm open and the other elbow open, your lungs have room to expand. Leave it, Bandit. Bandit, No. That's not for you, bud. I'm going to inhale energy. Exhale, let go tension. Inhale, inspired. Exhale, let tension go. It's safe to let go. And next inhale, take that left hand, bring it to your left ear, and gently bring your head through center. And pause, let the arms fall down, let the hands fall to the knees. And notice if you feel any difference in the tension around your neck. And now let's go to the second side, where you inhale your right arm up and over, gently drawing that right ear towards the right shoulder, and inhale, bring that left arm up. And just let it hang softly in the air. Feeling the ribs gliding in and out as you breathe. It is safe for me to let go. And of course, if you feel like having your arm out gets to be too much, you can always bring it down to your lap. And the inhale, feel energy flowing down those arms and down your neck. Exhale, it's safe for you to let go. Go ahead and let that left hand fall to your knee. Take the right hand, bring it to your right ear, and gently press your head upright. And again, sit tall. Take just a couple of breaths here. Feel the energy moving around your body. Feel that tension begin to let go of its grip. What are you taking in? What are you letting go in this moment? You can continue in an easy seat. I am actually going to move off my bolster and give you this option, which is totally optional. And I'm going to sit my hips back on my heels. And this is not comfortable for everybody, and I realize that. Inhale your arms out to the sides. go ahead and bend your right elbow, bringing your right hand towards the ceiling or heavens. And then take the left hand underneath that elbow, so elbow to elbow. And as much as possible, bring your forearms together. And if you can, bring your palms of your hands together into Eagle Pose. You should definitely be feeling this across your upper back and into your shoulders. It's a really nice pose to counteract all the sitting we do, all the hunching we do over our tablets and our phones and our laptops. It is safe for me to let go. If this feels like too much, you can just simply bend your elbows one on top of the other and take your hands and hold on to your shoulders as far back as you can. And you'll still get that nice opening across your upper back and your shoulders. And then let your arms go. And if you're like me, sitting back on your hips, I invite you to take your knees apart and come into child's pose. If you're seated, you can also come into a child's pose, or you can just stay seated. Just take a few breaths here before we go to the second side. It's another form of really surrendering, really letting go. And giving our legs a little break, as well as those arms. Now push into your hands if you're in child's pose. Walk your hands back to your torso. If you took your hips to your heels in the first position on the first side, you might want to continue to do that on the second side, or you might decide that was a little too much, in which case just take an easy seat but sit up on something. So inhale your arms out. And this time bend your left hand in front of your face. Take the right elbow under the left. Bring your forearms together as much as possible. And if you can, bring the palms together. As you can see, that is not available to me. I don't practice this enough. It is safe for me to let go. What can I take in from this pose? How can I let go of that tension that this pose may create in the moment? Now remember, if this gets to be too much, to just stack the elbows on top of each other and hold onto the backs of your shoulders as much as possible. Last couple breaths here. And then let those arms go. And I invite you to come into a quick child's pose. Release those shoulders. Release the legs, a wide-legged child pose. Release the hips. Can you feel that you are taking in energy from your palms and your feet? And then releasing the things that no longer serve you, maybe grief, into the earth. And push into your palms. Walk your hands back to your body. Face the short end of your mat. This is going to be a little tricky for me with Bandit here. Watch out, buddy. Stretch your legs down your mat. Bring your hips over to the back of the mat. Stretch your right leg. No. Go ahead and stretch your left leg down to the short end of the mat. Bend the right knee. Bandit, you're blocking their view, buddy. You gotta move. Buddy. Come on, bud. Come on. Bandit. You're still blocking, bud. Come on. There you go. There you go. Good boy. Okay. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest and let it fall over the left leg, stretching your right arm out from the shoulder. Looking over towards that right if it's comfortable for you. Really feeling that stretch across the chest, into the shoulders, down the arm. It is safe for me to let go. You can also place a block underneath the bent knee. Give it something to relax into. And you can even take both arms out into a T if that feels comfortable to you. Really trying to open up the chest, make room and space for your lungs so you can take in that energy and then let go. And last couple of breaths here. And your next exhale, release that right leg, bend the left leg, lift your hips, bring yourself towards the center of your mat briefly. And just take a few breaths here. And then pressing into your feet, lift your hips, move them over towards the front of your mat. Stretch your right leg down towards the short end of your mat. Bend the left knee in towards your chest and let it fall over your right leg. And stretching your left arm out from the shoulder. Make any little movements in the beginning to get comfortable here. As you know, we're here for a few minutes. It is safe for me to let go. Notice where your muscles are holding on. See if you can release. Let go. And last couple of breaths here. And slowly let that left foot come back to the mat, bending the right knee, taking your hips to the center of the mat. And just take a few breaths here. Notice if you feel a difference in the energy of your body. Notice if it maybe flows a little more smoothly. Notice if you feel a difference in your breath. Maybe that flows a little more smoothly. And maybe it doesn't. And roll over to one side or move into Savasana. That is our final pose. I want to give you another option for Savasana today, which will require those props and a little bit of setting up. So you want one block on its highest height. And you want one block on its medium height horizontally across your mat. And take your bolster if you have it, or a blanket. If you don't have a bolster, I don't really suggest this setup, quite frankly. I've tried it. I have not found it very comfortable personally. You can try. Adjust the blocks as need be. Basically one block is going to be almost at your head, and the other is going to be, you're going to take your hips right up to the bolster and lay down on it. So similar to supported fish pose, except we're raised. And you might even like a couple blocks under your hands so that you can relax. So your head is supported by the highest block, and the other block is going about where your shoulder blades end. And so this is an option for Savasana. I'm going to sit up and mind the time for you. If you set an intention at the beginning of this practice, this is a good time to bring your attention back to that intention. And so I'd like to talk a bit more about letting go as you're relaxing in Savasana, because it is associated with the lungs, the organs of the lungs in traditional Chinese medicine. And so when we are imbalanced, we have so much trouble letting go of grief. Yoga gives us so many tools to deal with grief. It doesn't mean we don't feel it. Of course we do. I want to tell you a little story. I got the news that I had passed the final test in the practicum for my initial yoga teacher training the day I was in the hospital with my father, and my mother was with me as well. And I was given 4 hours to choose a rehab facility for him, because the one that he had been to several times before did not have a bed for him. So I always like to say it was the best day and the worst day of my life. But having done that yoga training and continuing to train since then has given me the tools to get through the death of my father, to get through the death of my cat later that year, to get through the death of one of my dogs the next year, to get through several other things, not even mentioning the pandemic. There are many tools in the yoga toolkit that can help with grief. This practice is one of them. And grief doesn't have a time schedule. Everybody grieves on their own schedule. And it comes and it goes. It's not linear. It's not like, okay, I've grieved for this set amount of time, I'm good now. You may years later find yourself thinking of somebody that you've lost. And so this summer for me, as I mentioned in the beginning, my dog is in heart failure. He was a senior rescue, so we haven't had a whole lot of time with him, but we've had 7 years. And it's been difficult, I'm not going to lie. My mother is also in heart failure, and she's very elderly. But yoga reminds me to, as much as possible, try to live in this moment now, because it's the only one that we have. When we spend our time grieving before our loved one is even gone, it's really wasted time. And sometimes, of course, you're going to feel that way. I get it. I do. There are times I look at Bandit and it just makes me so sad that we don't have that much time left together. But for the most part, unlike my mother, most of the time he still has a pretty good quality of life. And that's what I'm trying to focus on. And I hope that maybe this is something, someone who's watching this today, could be years from now even, maybe it's a message you needed to hear today. And I hope if it is, and you do, I hope it helps. And now just relax until you hear me speak again. Begin to notice all the points of your body that are touching the earth. Backs of your heels, your calves, backs of your thighs, maybe your shoulders and the back of your head. Notice how when you take your attention to these points, you begin to sink deeper and deeper into the support of the earth. knowing that you can always reach for that strength and stability. Allow your breath to begin to deepen. Begin to notice the sounds inside and around you. Maybe the touch of the breeze on your skin or the touch of your clothes. And then begin to take any small movements you need to bring yourself back into the present moment. Maybe turning your head from side to side or nodding your chin up and down. Wiggling toes and fingers. Your next inhale, stretch the arms up all the way overhead. Feeling waves of relaxation coming from the tips of your fingers all the way down to your toes, and then up from your toes back up to the tips of your fingers. Each breath in is a chance to take in energy. And each breath out is a chance to let go. And keeping your eyes closed, begin to roll over to whichever side is most comfortable to you. We had a chipmunk joining our practice for a little bit. I think he's a little disturbed that I'm here. And then slowly push into your hands. Walk your arms upright and come into a seated position, or choose to stay in Savasana for as long as you need. On an inhale, bring the palms of the hands together, really pushing palm into palm, elbows flare wide, slightly bowing your head over your hands. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering and pain. And may you easily let go. Begin to blink your eyes open, taking in the mat, allowing your hands to fall down to your lap. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this practice, please click the like button to help me bring free yoga to more and more people. If you'd like to practice with me again, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell. And I just wanted to mention quickly that the breathing with curling your fingers in and then letting go was inspired by a video that I happened to watch this morning. It ended up in my inbox this morning from Pain Care Aware, and I will link that up in the description box below. If you suffer with chronic pain, that is a great site to check out. I hope that you had a wonderful practice, that the rest of your day is wonderful, and that you are able to easily let go.